Gamebird don't have the hunt clubs. So those are the ones that we have not served so far that need to be served. Also, I want you to notice all the I words in here. Informed, influence, industry. Okay, they're going to show up a little later. How we doing? You can test. This is, we may get some glitzy music. Don't have to do the dance. I don't have any music on this or any. Okay. Okay, I have a little book later that has audio, therefore I needed a tech to get me audio, which wasn't in this. So that's hence the tech support here. All right, so this is our purpose statement. I'm not doing that. Appreciate you doing that.
Yep. I can wait until your slide.
All right. One thing NAGA does not do well is brag about what it has accomplished. That's why some of you have no idea what NAGA is. In 2017, well, first of all, I became editor of the magazine in 2013, and we turned it from a little Reader's Digest version into a full-size magazine, 36 pages. It's now at 32, but with lots of information in it. We published a lot of articles dealing with some of the things that came up in the next few years. Well, in 2017, we were facing an issue with the Farm Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, Troy, but with the Farm Bill not covering low-path avian influenza indemnification. That's a fancy way of saying money paid to you if your birds have low-path and you have to depopulate, because what do we have for a market for birds that are sick but not dying? So we weren't getting money for them. They wanted to take that out of the Farm Bill. Well, we went to Washington, D.C., and we met with, I think, 15 to 17 of our legislators to talk about, hey, how do we make sure this stays in there? Well, we were told before we even went, you got a very slim chance of getting this thing through, but we got it through. It was there. It happened because we went to Washington. So if you had had low-path avian influenza in your flock during that time period of 2015, 20, in that range, or shortly after, this is what we were concerned about. If you had it in that time period, they would have been trying to say, no, we're not going to pay you. Well, they're going to pay us. The result is the low-path indemnity went through. It was in the bill. Fast forward to COVID. COVID, all the businesses had to shut down. Well, then some were allowed to open, like golf courses. But hunting preserves were still shut down. So we went to bat as NAGA to make sure that we had a criteria in place that said, if you're going to let golf courses be open, then you're going to have to let hunting clubs be open. It gave a criteria under which this could happen. Result was the ability to stay open. Okay, now we have a 2015 outbreak. We have been putting out articles in 2014, 2015, 2016 about biosecurity, about Danish entry systems, about what you do to make sure that you have a biosecurity plan, who you have to provide that to. We still get people who look at us like a young cow looking at a new gate going, what's a biosecurity plan? Folks, if you don't know what a biosecurity plan is now, you're not reading our articles, you're not getting all this information. We've had articles in the NAGA News, we've done live streams, we've had multiple speakers at our conventions. We've talked about how to draft a biosecurity plan and who to administer this with. So all those things, NAGA's been available and been working on this right straight through. Our biggest accomplishment, probably with the help of Carol Cardona, has been the Secure Upland Game Bird Supply Plan. What does that mean? That means your neighbor 6 miles away, 4 miles away, comes down with avian influenza. You're in this zone where they're going, oh my gosh, you can't move birds. How do you handle that? Or you're in a state where this has happened and other states are worried about you moving birds through because your state is cursed with avian influenza in it. Okay, so these are things that I believe you're talking a lot more about this. No? Yeah?
Not
All
today.
right, well, it's a proactive plan on how to move birds if you're in, how to move it through, or if you're in an affected area, okay? And this criteria, 255 pages or something like that. One of those huge legislative nightmares for us, but this was developed, and if you go online and you search for that, you look down through and it says it was developed with the aid of the North American Gamebird Association. So it was very effective on that. Carol, others that have been on our health committee, just amazing. These are things that have happened, and that all affects you, whether you're a member or whether you're not a member. So why should you be a member? Because you're helping to fund that, you're getting the information on that, etc. Okay, indemnification values. Originally, the values came out from the USDA that said they were going to award $6 per bird. How many of you charge $6 per bird? Yeah, I thought so. How many of you could live and have your business survive if you were given $6 per bird? Yeah, I thought so. So we all kind of went, you've got to be kidding. So our executive director took a rapid survey of some of the producers in a sampling across the country, put together a table of proposed values that went to the USDA, and the result is the USDA is using our chart so that people are not having to go, wait a minute, $6 isn't going to cut it, I'm going to have to appeal that. And I'm going to ask for $17.50, $17.95, somewhere in that ballpark. And we have members who have been affected, and they have been awarded that amount. Can you survive if you have birds that are sold at $17.95? Yes? I mean, you're probably in that ballpark now, unless you're a whole lot higher than the middle of the country. Now, is it the easy way to do it? Is it something you want to have happen? No, but at least you have that much. Okay, I became president last January, February, whenever we had our convention out in New Orleans. And I had this idea of starting a live stream. Well, fools rush in where angels fear tread, and I just did it. I started it, but our Gamebird Spotlight live stream brings ideas, information, issues, and inspiration to our industry. This is broadcast on YouTube and our Facebook page so that there are different topics. For example, finding workers. That's an issue, right? Finding a way to keep your farm uncontaminated when you move birds. That's an issue. So clean crates contain contamination. Let's see. All right, there are others talking to different people through the beauty of live stream, which is basically a Zoom meeting recorded and broadcast on YouTube. So it's there. You can go back and you can watch the reruns. I have taken on different issues. All right, on this issue, I could really use help. What's an issue to you that you would like to see covered? Because in my brain, I get tired. I mean, any of this stuff takes energy. So ideas, things that are coming up. I've recorded a few of the seminars here, and I'll take snippets out and use them for ways that people can chime in and discuss, because there's a comment section. So if it's recorded or broadcast in real time, people can ask questions, and then we can get right back to them on this. We had a hunting club conference. This is what the topic is, but I had to go through all the other to let you know what else we're doing. Hunting club conference in 2022. I had wanted for years to do something aimed at hunting clubs specifically. we have 3 or 4, maybe 3 that here in this. Okay, how many of you can think of 10 hunting preserves in the state that are not here? Can't think of 10 hunting, you sell to hunting clubs, right? Hunting clubs that are not here, that should be here, part of this organization. Well, we have felt that for years in the national organization. There are people who are not members that should be. The easiest fruit, is one way of saying it, are the people who are in the hunt clubs. The argument has been, oh, that organization, that's just for the good old boys that grow the birds. Well, if we don't provide content and services for them, then they're right. So we decided to do a hunting club conference. It was held in Ohio, because that's home base. That's where I'm going first, folks. Okay? When you want to help with one, we'll do it in your area. Hunting club conference, Deer Creek, Ohio, which is a state park, had a really nice facility. We held it in July thinking that, well, most of the work on getting things set up, it was a short break, just kind of a luck of the draw. If you don't like the date, tell us, help us move it to another date, and we'll move it to another date. But in this, besides the regular content, come on, move along. Okay, we had some really super, and this is not bringing up my pictures. Okay, well, it brought up one picture, the food, and after all, that's the most important part, right? All right, we had our seminars, which were great. The energy from this was tremendous. I can't stress that. How many of you, over the years, you've gone to a lot of conferences and you go and you come back and it's like, okay, same old, same old. This was new stuff. It was energy. It was great. So we had 63 people there. And for a first time event, that's huge. I have no idea how many are at this one, and you've been doing this for how many years. I know that getting that many people together in the summer, that was huge for us. It was great. So we had a lot of really fun stuff. One of the most important, one of the most responded and appreciated parts was a guy named Merle Heckman, who does courses for Dale Carnegie. One of the comments that I heard loud and clear was, all my guides should be here to hear this. All right, so that's the concept. Hey, you have a hunting club, you have something like that, send your support people as human development, a way for them to learn more and be more of an asset to you. The picture before this one that wouldn't show is the chef Alfonso from Hocking College down in Hocking Hills, Ohio. He is a 4-star chef, and he took pheasant and he made us all these really super good meals. We thought lunch was good. This was like to die for. It was excellent. And the funny thing is we had boxed lunches that were given to us, and people were grabbing their boxed lunches and going. I'm like, no, I'm going for that stuff. It was awesome. And he gave us recipes. That seminar is on the live stream, so if you want to go back, you know, it was sort of like, y'all remember the Muppets? You had the chef, okay, you had Alfonso and you had his sidekick Otto, so it was dinner and a movie. I mean, it was awesome, dinner and a show, and we had all of that. Probably the most important part of the whole thing was the time that we had around the fire pit at night. People networking with each other. When you go to do business, who do you do business with? Do you do business with somebody you've never heard of, never met? Maybe if you have to, but you're here networking with each other. I want to do business with somebody that I know. We just found out we have somebody over here that knows people right around the corner from us and does business with them. Well, we have an instant bond. He knows where Bucyrus, Ohio is. Any of the rest of you know where Bucyrus is? We don't know where Bucyrus is. We live there. All right, so this hunting club conference is something we're going to do again this year in Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas. Why in the world Manhattan, Kansas? Anybody know what's in Manhattan, Kansas? None of you do? Nobody? Okay.
The USDA,
Oh, USDA is there?
NIFA, yeah.
Okay, we're not going because of the US.
K-State?
Yes.
Kansas State?
Kansas State. Kansas State, Manhattan has an outdoor skills and wildlife program. Are you having problems finding workers? Maybe you're at the end of your work cycle and you're getting ready to maybe turn your farm over to somebody else, and you're looking for maybe somebody you could take on board and train and turn your facility over to. That's your opportunity. It's like a giant work fair where we're gonna have an access to these kids that are in the program. Plus, we got a call from Auburn College, which is in Alabama, from LA, Lower Alabama, and they're going to come and talk about that. So we've got, for lack of a better word, kids, students that are in programs that we can network with, maybe have them come on in an internship and see how that relationship works. I'm so sorry those pictures didn't show. We have our annual convention. This year it was in New Orleans. So New Orleans was the place to be. And after not having it in 2020, last year having it in Las Vegas, there was a lot of energy there this year. We had higher numbers than we've had in a long time. People were ready to get back together, and we had great speakers. You can guess what one of the major discussion points was: avian influenza, but there were, again, our chef came out from Hocking and did his presentation, cooked us up great meals. That food all got eaten. And we talked about the AI response. We had people who had been affected. Who better to help you walk through something than somebody who's been there before you? So there was that, and they were very open with their comments, very open with the situation and how it wasn't handled well and where it was handled well. Okay, they're learning too. All these folks are. Okay, how to survive going forward. What things are you going to change in your business as a result of avian influenza and its presence in our, it hangs over us all, right? Pricing in light of the turbulent economy was one of the topics. We're having changes like you wouldn't believe. Prices on feed are going up. Any of you charging the same thing this year as you were last year? I hope not, or you're not going to be around next year. The last thing, there was so much more there. Coming up, this is my passion. In probably 2006, NAGA had 2,500 members, okay? I can't imagine what the Penn State group had at that point. And we'd have 500 at a convention, okay? Then feed prices went up through the roof. In 2008, people dropped out. We had other events that happened and people said, not for me. People have died. I can understand why they're not members. There are people who have retired. There are people who have sold their places, and the new people have not picked up and decided to be a member. So my theme for this year is 100 more in 2024. We're pushing. So there is a membership increase as of July 2023. So you can beat the price. If you're not a member, now's the time to get an increase. A basic membership is $75. We have business memberships that are about $125. What do you get for all that? It's all listed on the website. I can't go through my memory. It doesn't hold that much information. We're going to have the next hunting club conference. You've got people that you retail to that should be going to this. If they succeed, your business succeeds. We have our next annual convention in Orlando 2024, and we're going to continue the advocacy and the work on your behalf. Why? Because that's what we do. We have a wonderful board. There are 3 folks in here now that are on the board, and Bernadette, who's on our foundation board. These folks spend lots of time on Zoom calls. We had one member comment that it feels like it goes from Zoom call to Zoom call, because that's just, the way the year has gone. We will continue to work for non-members who receive the benefit of what we do. You just don't know you have that benefit. So we have